look at your phone right now. Like, open your text messages. Scroll down past your family, past your current coworkers. Keep going. I guarantee you will find a ghost.
Oh, wait, a ghost? That sounds a bit dramatic. Are we doing a scary story today?
Not a real ghost. No, I mean a friendship ghost.
Oh, right.
Like a conversation thread that just stopped.
Huh.
Think about it. You have someone in your phone right now who used to be a huge part of your life.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Maybe you talk to them every single day. You knew their coffee order. You knew their daily complaints. And now, the last message is from, like, 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it's just a simple, Happy New Year with a little party hat emoji. And that's it.
Oh, I completely see what you mean. Yes, I definitely have a few of those ghosts in my phone.
We all do, right? But here's the thing that really bothers me. When we watch movies, a friendship always ends with this massive explosion.
Right, like a big dramatic fight.
Exactly. Someone steals a boyfriend or someone lies, and they have this huge screaming match in the rain. Doors slam. But in real life, that almost never happens.
No, it really doesn't. Movies need action, but real life is usually much, much quieter.
Exactly. Most adult friendships do not end with a bang. They end with a whisper. They just slowly fade out.
Yeah, it's a slow process.
Someone gets busy at work. Plans get moved to next week. Then next week becomes next month. And suddenly, without anyone making a conscious decision, weeks silently turn into years.
But I want to challenge something right away because this is important.
Okay, go for it.
When people see those old messages, they often feel a heavy sense of guilt. They think, I am a terrible friend. I let this die. I stopped caring.
Oh, I feel that guilt all the time.
Right. But if we actually look at the research and the notes on this, the fading process isn't about a lack of love at all.
What do you mean? Because it certainly feels like a lack of love when someone just stops texting you.
It feels that way, yes. But it is usually just a change in environment. We confuse the loss of convenience with a loss of care.
Oh, wow. Loss of convenience.
Yeah. You didn't stop loving that person. Your life just changed shape, and they no longer fit easily into your daily path.
That is a really kind way to look at it. But I still think we need to unpack this. We need to figure out why this happens so easily to adults.
Yeah.
Like, why do we lose people without even noticing?
Well, to really understand adult friendship, we have to look backward first.
Right.
We have to look at why making friends as a child felt so incredibly easy.
Oh, it was so easy.
But was it easy because we were better at friendship, or was it easy because the environment did like 90% of the work for us?
Oh, the environment definitely did the work. I mean, think about school. School is basically a giant friendship factory.
A friendship factory. I love that.
It is. You are forced to be in the exact same room with the exact same people for 8 hours a day.
Right. You don't have to plan anything. The school schedule is the plan.
Exactly. You sit next to someone in history class. You both hate the teacher. Boom, you are friends.
Yeah.
You share a snack at lunch. Boom, best friends. You don't have to coordinate calendars. You don't have to send an email asking for a 30-minute coffee meeting next Tuesday. You just exist in the same space.
It is forced proximity, and it is the absolute most powerful tool for building a relationship. But there is another layer to this, too.
What's the other layer?
Well, as kids, we also had a completely different mental battery.
A mental battery, like how much energy we have for the day.
Yes. Think about an adult's mental battery. It is drained by very heavy things. We worry about paying the rent. We worry about our careers, our marriages, raising children, keeping the house clean, staying healthy. By 7 in the evening, an adult's mental battery is totally empty.
That is so true. By 7, I just want to stare at a wall in total silence. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Right. But a 10-year-old child, their battery is completely different. Their main priority is play.
Because they don't have a mortgage.
Exactly. They don't have a demanding boss, so they have massive amounts of reserve energy to dedicate just to social connection.
So you're saying adults don't care less about their friends? They just literally do not have the energy to maintain them in the same way.
Precisely. We lose the playground, and we are thrown into a world where every single interaction requires active planning and massive energy.
Yep.
So friendship moves lower down on the priority list. Not because we are bad people, but because survival basically takes over.
That makes total sense, but it still really hurts when it happens.
Yeah.
Especially when you lose what I call a routine friend.
A routine friend. Define that for me.
Oh, you know exactly what I mean. The friend you have purely because of a shared routine.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's say you have an office job. There is someone you get coffee with every single morning at 10. You stand in the kitchen, you complain about the manager, You talk about what you watched on TV last night.
Ah, yes. The classic work friend.
Right. And you feel incredibly close to them. You tell them your secrets. You think, wow, this is a true, deep friendship.
But then,
But then one of you gets a new job at a different company.
and you promise to stay in touch. You say, we will get lunch every month.
Yes, you promise. You truly believe you will get lunch every month. But then you leave the company. The daily coffee routine is gone. And suddenly you realize you have absolutely nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
The entire friendship was built on the foundation of the office building. When the building is gone, the friendship just collapses.
Well, I wouldn't say it collapses. I would say it just completes its natural lifespan.
Wow. Completes its natural lifespan. That sounds a bit cold, don't you think?
Maybe it sounds cold, but I think it is realistic. Not every friendship is meant to last 50 years.
I guess that's true.
Some friendships are just meant to get you through a specific period of your life. That office friend helped you survive that stressful job. That is a really beautiful thing, but it doesn't mean you have to force it to continue when the environment completely changes.
Okay, I can accept that. But what about distance? Because distance ruins friendships that actually are deep and meaningful.
Oh, absolutely.
You have a best friend, they move to a new city, and suddenly the relationship feels completely different.
Distance is the ultimate test of an adult friendship because distance completely removes that forced proximity we talked about.
And it introduces the worst thing in the world, adult friendship math.
Adult friendship math. I know exactly where this is going.
It is a nightmare. Okay, let me walk you through the reality of trying to organize a simple dinner with a group of 6 adults. You tell me if you have experienced this.
Go ahead. I am ready for the pain.
Okay. It's Monday. You're feeling social. You open the group chat with your 5 favorite people. You type, hey everyone, I miss you all. We need to get dinner this week.
And within 5 minutes, everyone replies, yes. Oh my gosh, it has been too long. Let's definitely do it.
Exactly. The enthusiasm is extremely high. That is step 1.
Yeah.
But then step 2 begins, the actual scheduling.
Here we go.
Person A says, I am free Thursday after 6.
But person B cannot do Thursday.
Right. Person B says, I have a work event on Thursday. How about Friday?
And then person C jumps in.
Yes. Person C is like, Friday is impossible, it's my husband's birthday. Then person D says, well, I can do Saturday, but only for a quick lunch between 12 and 2.
So now everyone is looking at their digital calendars, trying to find a tiny open window. It feels like you are organizing a global peace treaty, not a dinner with friends.
It really does. It's so stressful. Finally, by some absolute miracle, you all agree on the following Tuesday at 7 at a pizza place. You feel victorious. You did it.
But the story doesn't end there, does it?
Of course not,
Yeah.
because Tuesday morning arrives, the day of the dinner. You wake up and check your phone. Person E has sent a message. Guys, I'm so sorry I woke up with a terrible cold. I can't make it.
Which creates a domino effect.
Exactly. Once one person drops out, the whole structure becomes weak. Person A sees that message and says, oh no, actually my child has football practice tonight and my partner is working late, so I really need to stay home too.
So your group of 6 is now a group of 4.
Yes. 4 of you actually make it to the restaurant. You sit down, you order drinks, you are waiting for person F. 10 minutes pass.
Oh, no.
20 minutes pass.
Yeah.
You text person F, and what do you think person F is doing?
Person F is sitting on their sofa in their pajamas watching television because they completely forgot.
Yes. They completely forgot because they booked this dinner a week ago and adult life completely erased their memory. So it is just 3 of you eating pizza. And what is the funniest part about this whole situation?
The funniest part is what happens at the end of the night.
Yes. At the end of the night, you pay the bill, you hug each other, and every single one of you says, oh, this was so amazing. We should do this more often.
We should do this more often. It is the biggest lie adults tell each other.
But we mean it when we say it.
Yeah.
We really do feel happy. But then we go home and nobody ever plans the next dinner.
Because the math is just too exhausting. The friction of organizing it is way higher than the reward of the dinner itself.
Yeah, the friction.
You want to see your friends, but you do not want to spend 2 weeks sending 30 text messages just to coordinate a 2-hour meeting.
But wait, this brings up a huge question for me.
What's that?
If organizing things in person is so difficult, why doesn't our technology solve this? I mean, we have smartphones. I can literally send a message to a friend across the world in 1 second. We should be closer than ever.
We should be. But technology actually creates a brand new trap. It is a total paradox.
A paradox.
Because we can reach out at any time, we often feel no urgency to reach out right now.
Oh, wow. That is so true.
Think about it. If a friend lived in another country 40 years ago, you had to write a physical letter, or you had to schedule a very expensive phone call. There was a specific time and place for the connection.
Yes. It required effort, which meant it required intention.
But today, connection is cheap. It is too easy. And because it is too easy, we just delay it.
This leads perfectly into something I struggle with deeply. The "I'll reply tomorrow" trap.
Oh, I think every single person listening to this right now knows exactly what that trap is.
Let me explain how it happens to me, and you tell me if I am just a terrible person.
I will be the judge. Go ahead.
Okay. It is 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Ah,
I am at my desk, working hard. My phone vibrates. It is a really nice, long message from an old friend.
okay.
They're asking how my new job is going, telling me about their recent holiday. It is a very thoughtful message.
So you read it immediately?
I read it immediately,
Yeah.
and it makes me smile. I feel warm inside. I love this friend. But then my brain does something very tricky.
What does it do?
My brain says, you are too busy right now to write a good reply. This friend deserves a long, thoughtful message. If you reply now, it will be short and rushed. Wait until tonight, when you are relaxing on the sofa, and write them a beautiful long message.
That sounds extremely logical. You are actually trying to be a good friend by waiting. You want to give them your full attention.
Right. My intention is pure. But then the evening comes. I get home from work. I cook dinner. I clean the kitchen. I am just exhausted.
Your battery is empty.
Completely empty. I sit on the sofa. I remember the message. But now my brain says, you are too tired to write a beautiful message right now. If you write it now, it won't be funny or interesting. Wait until tomorrow morning when you have fresh energy.
Ah, the classic delay.
So tomorrow morning comes,
Mhm.
but I sleep late and I have to rush to work. So I tell myself I will reply on the weekend. The weekend is the perfect time for long messages.
Let me guess. The weekend arrives and you are busy running errands, doing laundry, buying groceries.
Yes. And suddenly, without me even noticing, tomorrow becomes next week.
Yeah.
And next week becomes next month.
It just slips away.
It really does. And then one day I'm scrolling through my phone and I see their message. It has been 6 weeks. 6 weeks of silence.
And how do you feel in that moment?
I feel intense shame. The guilt is incredibly heavy. I think to myself, it is way too late to reply now. If I reply after 6 weeks, it will be so awkward. I don't even know what to say to explain the delay.
Yeah, that's a tough spot.
They probably think I'm incredibly rude. They probably hate me. So because I feel so guilty, I choose to do nothing. I just never reply at all.
And just like that, the friendship fades. Not because of a fight, not because you stopped caring, but because of a guilt spiral born from a single delayed message.
But why do we do this? Why is it so hard to just send a quick text?
Because we have built up a psychological barrier. I call it the re-entry barrier.
The re-entry barrier.
Yeah. When you leave a conversation for too long, re-entering it feels like a huge mountain to climb. You feel like you owe the person an explanation. You owe them a massive update on your entire life. The task feels too big, so your brain just avoids it completely.
Wow, the re-entry barrier. That makes perfect sense. It feels like homework.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do homework in their free time.
Exactly. But I want to push back on something here. You blamed the "I'll reply tomorrow" trap for the silence, but I think there is an even bigger enemy to adult friendship.
Bigger than delaying texts.
Yes. And it lives right next to your text messages on your phone.
You mean social media?
Yes. Social media creates a very dangerous illusion. It tricks our brains into thinking we are maintaining friendships when we're actually doing absolutely nothing.
Okay, wait. I disagree a little bit. I actually love seeing my friends' photos online.
Really?
Yeah. If my friend from university posts a picture of her new baby, I love seeing it. It makes me feel connected to her life.
But are you actually connected to her life? Or are you just a spectator?
Well, I mean, I am watching her life happen.
Right. You are watching through a window, but you are not walking through the door. This is the danger. We confuse information with intimacy.
Information versus intimacy. Okay, explain that to me.
Think about what you do when you see that picture of the baby. You tap the screen twice, a little red heart appears. Maybe you type a quick emoji with heart eyes.
Yes, that takes half a second.
Exactly. It takes half a second, and your brain gets a tiny chemical reward. Your brain says, good job. You interacted with your friend today. You are maintaining the relationship. But did you actually ask her how she's feeling? Did you ask her if she is tired or if she needs help with the baby?
No. I just like the photo.
And she sees your like and thinks, oh, my friend is supporting me, so neither of you feels the need to actually call each other? The social media interaction acts like a cheap substitute for a real conversation.
Wow.
It lowers our motivation to actually reach out because we feel like we already did.
Oh, that is devastating. We are substituting deep emotional connection with cheap, easy digital reactions.
Yes. We know what our friends had for breakfast. We know where they went on holiday. We know what their dog looks like. We have all this surface level information.
But we don't really know them
Right. We have absolutely no idea what they're worrying about at 2 in the morning.
because you cannot put a 2 a.m. worry into a quick Instagram story.
Exactly. Real intimacy requires time, vulnerability, and active listening. Clicking a heart button requires none of those things.
Okay, this is getting a bit depressing. We are busy, we are exhausted, we are bad at scheduling, we delay our texts out of guilt, and we replace real talking with fake internet buttons. It sounds like adults are just doomed to be terrible friends forever.
It does sound dark, and honestly, the research backs up this darkness. There's a very real consequence to all of this fading.
You mean the loneliness epidemic?
Yes, the secret loneliness. Studies consistently show that loneliness spikes dramatically after the age of 25.
Right after school and university routines completely disappear.
Exactly. When the forced proximity ends, people suddenly find themselves in their late 20s or 30s feeling incredibly isolated.
But they don't look isolated. If you look at an average 30-year-old social media profile, they might have 800 friends. They get hundreds of likes on their birthday.
But that is the illusion again. They have a massive audience, but no actual support system.
That's so sad.
It is. The research shows that many adults, despite having hundreds of digital contacts, have very few close friends. Some studies suggest a large percentage of adults feel they have 0 close friends they could call in a real emergency.
0. That breaks my heart. Imagine having 800 people watching your life online, but nobody to call when your car breaks down in the middle of the night.
It is the modern tragedy. We are hyper-connected but deeply disconnected at the exact same time.
Okay, but we have to pivot here. Because while this sounds incredibly sad, our notes suggest something else. This isn't just a story about losing things. It is actually a story about things changing.
Yes, the evolution of friendship.
Exactly. If we only look at what we are losing, the daily chats, the easy proximity, we feel terrible. But maybe the problem isn't that we are bad friends. Maybe the problem is that we are using the wrong definition of friendship.
The wrong definition.
Yes, we are still trying to use a child's definition of friendship in an adult's world.
That is a really fascinating way to frame it. How would you define a child's definition of friendship?
Well, a child's definition is based on volume and frequency. When you are 10 years old, a best friend is someone you play with every single day. If you don't talk to someone for a week, you literally say, "We aren't friends anymore."
The relationship requires constant daily proof to exist.
Yes. But as an adult, if you demand daily proof of friendship, you will be exhausted, and everyone around you will be exhausted. We have to allow friendships to change shape.
The shape-shifting friendship. I like that. What are some of these new shapes?
Well, the research talks about realizing that it is perfectly healthy to have different categories of friends. You don't just have best friends and strangers. There is a whole colorful spectrum in between.
Give me an example.
Okay, think about the holiday friend. Do you have one of those?
I think I do, but explain your version of it.
A holiday friend is someone you grew up with, maybe in your hometown. You both moved away for work. You never call each other during the year. You never text. But every December, you both travel back to your parents' houses for the holidays.
And you meet up at the local pub.
Exactly. You meet at the same pub, you drink the same beer, you laugh about the exact same memories for 3 hours. It is wonderful. You feel completely connected.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, you say goodbye, and you do not speak again for 12 whole months.
And the key here is that neither of you feels guilty about the silence.
Exactly. A younger me would think, if we only talk once a year, the friendship is dead. But the adult me realizes, no, the friendship isn't dead. It is just a once-a-year friendship. And that is a perfectly healthy shape for it to take.
That removes so much pressure. What other shapes are there?
Well, there is the birthday friend. This one is very common. You only exchange messages once a year on each other's birthdays.
Right, the classic Facebook wall post.
Yes. You say, "Happy birthday, hope you're doing well." They reply, "Thank you, we really need to catch up soon." You reply, "Yes, definitely, let's plan something."
And then neither of you plans anything.
Never. You don't speak again until their birthday the next year. It's a cycle. But again, it's not a bad thing. It is a very low-energy way to say, I still remember you exist, and I still wish you well.
Then there is the once-a-year deep dive friend. I have a few of these.
Oh, tell me about that one.
These are people I might meet for coffee maybe once every autumn. We don't do small talk. We don't talk about the weather. We sit down and we spend 3 hours talking incredibly fast, catching up on an entire year of our lives.
Oh, I love those conversations.
We talk about our deepest fears, our career failures, our family dramas. It is incredibly intense and rewarding.
And then what happens?
And then we hug and we go back to our busy lives. And I might not see them until the next autumn. But that 3-hour coffee was deeply fulfilling.
See, this is the beauty of adult friendship. Real friends, mature friends, are incredibly flexible. They understand that you have a busy life because they have a busy life too.
Yeah.
They have the same tired minds and the same empty mental batteries.
If they demanded daily texts from you, it would feel like a second job. And nobody wants a friendship that feels like an obligation.
Right. And this brings up a huge shift in how adults view relationships. As we get older, we move entirely from valuing quantity to valuing quality.
This is a major psychological shift. When you are a teenager, your social status is defined by quantity. You want to be popular, you want 50 friends, you want to be invited to every single party on Friday night. If you aren't invited, you feel like a total failure.
Yes, the fear of missing out is huge when you are young.
But as you move into your 30s and 40s, the math changes. You realize that managing 50 friends is physically impossible. You begin to crave quality. You would rather have 2 or 3 extremely solid, reliable friends than 50 loose acquaintances.
It is so true. Give me one friend who will listen to me cry over a cup of tea, rather than 20 friends who just want to drink at a loud bar where we can't even hear each other speak.
Exactly. Adults prefer depth over width. One deeply honest conversation is far more valuable than 50 quick digital interactions.
So, if we accept this, if we accept that life gets busy, that planning is hard, and that friendships change shape, what do we actually do? Because I don't want to just sit back and let all my friendships fade away completely. I still want these high-quality connections.
We have to find ways to maintain them that don't exhaust our mental battery. We need low-friction ways to stay connected.
And our notes have some brilliant practical advice for this.
Yeah.
The very first step is the most important and also the hardest for most people.
Send the first message.
Now, send the first message. You have to put your pride away. So many friendships die simply because both people are waiting for the other person to reach out.
It is the ultimate standoff. People think, well, I texted last time, so it is their turn.
Yes, we keep a ridiculous mental scorecard. I initiated the last 3 coffees, so I'm not doing it again. But that scorecard is destroying your social life. If you want to talk to someone, just talk to them.
And we have to stop waiting for the perfect time to do it.
Oh, absolutely. This goes back to my I'll reply tomorrow trap. We think we need a full hour of free time, a cup of hot tea, and a quiet room to write the perfect catch-up message. But life is messy. There is never a perfect time.
So what is the alternative?
The alternative is embracing the micro-connection. Do it right now, in the messy moments. If you're waiting in line at the grocery store and you suddenly remember a funny joke your friend told you 5 years ago, text them right then.
Just a short message.
A tiny message. Just type, "I'm buying apples, and I randomly remembered that time you fell into the lake. Hope you are good."
That takes maybe 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
But what does that message actually say to your friend? It doesn't just say a funny memory. It says you still exist in my brain. Even when we are apart, my mind still searches for you. That is an incredibly powerful feeling to give someone.
It breaks the silence without demanding a huge time commitment in return. The friend can reply with a simple laughing emoji, and the connection is refreshed.
Exactly. The notes also talk about a specific tool that I think is completely underused by adults.
Voice messages.
Voice messages are a complete game changer for busy adults. Think about it. Scheduling a 45-minute phone call is almost as hard as scheduling a dinner. You have to find a time when both of you are free, quiet, and emotionally ready to talk.
Which is incredibly rare.
But a voice message solves the problem of time completely. You are getting the emotional intimacy of a phone call, but with the convenience of a text message.
It is asynchronous communication, but with a soul.
That is a great way to describe it. I can be walking to my car after work. I press the button, I talk for 2 minutes, I complain about my boss, I talk about a book I'm reading, I ask about their day, I send it. Then, maybe 3 hours later, when my friend is cooking dinner, she listens to it.
And hearing a voice does something that reading text simply cannot do.
Right, you can hear their tone, you can hear if they sound exhausted, you can hear their real laughter, not just an LOL typed on a screen. It feels like they're in the room with you, even if you are listening to it hours later.
I agree, voice messages are excellent, but I also want to defend the short phone call.
the short phone call. But people are terrified of phone calls these days.
They are terrified because we have this false idea that a phone call must be a huge, deep event. We think if we call someone, we are trapped on the phone for an hour. But you can set the boundary immediately.
How do you do that without sounding rude?
You manage expectations in the first 10 seconds. You call a friend and say, hey, I only have exactly 5 minutes before I have to walk into a meeting, but I really just wanted to hear your voice and check in. How is your week going?
Oh, I love that. I only have 5 minutes. It removes all the pressure.
Exactly. The friend doesn't feel like they need to entertain you for an hour. They give you a quick update, you share a quick laugh, and you hang up. You achieved real connection without ruining your busy schedule.
It is all about lowering the barrier to entry. We make friendship seem like this massive, heavy mountain we have to climb, but really it is just a series of small, consistent steps.
Which brings us to a very important concept. What happens when you do try these things, but the other person doesn't respond?
Ah, the one-sided friendship. We have to talk about this, because this is where the real pain of the slow fade lives.
It is a very difficult reality. Sometimes in a fading friendship, one person realizes what is happening and tries very hard to stop it. They become the designated planner.
Yes, they are always the one sending the first text. They're always the one saying, let's meet up this weekend. They are carrying the entire weight of the relationship.
And carrying a relationship alone is exhausting. Eventually, that person gets tired, they look at their phone and they think, if I don't initiate contact, will we ever speak again?
And then they do the silent test.
The silent test. Explain how that works.
The silent test is when you intentionally stop reaching out, just to see if the other person will finally make an effort. You say to yourself, I'm not going to text them this week. Let's see how long it takes for them to realize I am gone.
It is a test of the relationship's balance.
Yes, and it is usually a heartbreaking test, because very often days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and the other person never reaches out.
And how does the person who's stopped texting feel?
They feel abandoned. They feel like the friendship was a lie. They feel like they never actually mattered to that person.
But I want to introduce some friction here. I want to look at it from the other person's perspective. The person who failed the silent test.
Okay.
Are they truly a bad friend? Or is the silent test fundamentally unfair?
Unfair. How is it unfair to want your friend to put in some effort?
It is unfair because it is a secret test. The other person doesn't know they are being tested. They might just be going through an incredibly stressful period at work. They might be dealing with family health issues. They might be drowning in that mental load we discussed earlier.
So you're saying they aren't ignoring you on purpose. They are just distracted by survival.
Exactly. When you suddenly stop texting, they might just think, oh, my friend must be busy. They don't realize you are sitting at home feeling resentful. Friendship requires effort from both sides, yes, but it also requires communication. If you feel like you are doing all the work, you shouldn't just disappear. You should talk about it.
That is a fair point. But it is still so hard to accept that a friendship has become one-sided. It hurts.
It does hurt. But letting go of a friendship that no longer serves you is also a necessary part of adult life. You only have a limited amount of space in your life. If someone is consistently showing you that they do not have the capacity for you right now, it is okay to let that quiet fade happen.
That is the hardest lesson, isn't it? Accepting the fade. But I think our deep dive today has totally changed how I look at that fade.
In what way?
I used to view a fading friendship as a failure on my part or a failure on their part. But now I see it differently. The fading isn't a failure. It's just a symptom of growing up.
Growing older means losing convenience, not losing love.
Losing convenience, not losing love. I want to highlight that because it is so incredibly important. The love doesn't vanish. The shared memories don't disappear. The jokes you laughed at are still funny.
The foundation remains completely intact.
Yes. It is just that the daily noise gets louder, the responsibilities get heavier, we lose the easy math of the school playground, we lose the forced proximity of the shared office space.
We lose the environment that made friendship effortless.
But because we lose that convenience, the friendships that do survive become so much more impressive. If you have a friend you haven't seen in 2 years and you finally meet for coffee and it feels exactly the same, that is a miracle.
It really is. The deepest friendships are not measured by how many days in a row you talk. They are not measured by how quickly someone replies to your text message or if they liked your holiday photo on social media.
They are measured by trust. They're measured by their ability to survive the silence.
Surviving the silence. When the noise of life finally pauses and the silence breaks, the trust is still right there where you left it. Those are the relationships that truly define an adult life.
They really are. They don't need to be perfect to be real. You don't need to talk every day to be important to someone.
And I think understanding this takes away so much of the guilt we carry around. We can forgive ourselves for being busy. And we can forgive our friends for being busy, too.
Yes, forgiveness is key. We're all just trying to navigate this complicated adult math. And, earlier we talked about that quiet disappearance, that ghost in your phone, the slow fade, where weeks turn into years without a goodbye.
The door that slowly closes.
But here's the beautiful thing about a slow fade. Because there was no massive movie-style argument. Because nobody slammed a door or shouted in the rain. There is no big wall between you.
The door isn't locked.
Exactly. The door's not locked. It is just resting quietly. It just takes one person to reach out and push it open again.
One simple, low-pressure message.
Just one. So I want you to think for a second. Right now, while you are listening to this, did an old friend pop into your mind during this conversation?
I know a few popped into mine.
Me too. If you pictured someone's face today, or if you suddenly remembered a funny story from 3 years ago, maybe today's the perfect day to finally send them a message.
You don't need a grand excuse. You don't need to apologize for the silence.
You don't. Just tell them they crossed your mind. Tell them you hope they're doing well. Don't worry about the scheduling math. Don't worry about the reply tomorrow trap. Just push the door open a little bit. You might just bring a truly beautiful friendship right back out of the quiet.